1% of world billionaires will come from edge computing. So says Jack Pouchet, Vice President of Business Development at Vertiv, who joins me now to explain more about this. Jack, thanks a lot for talking to me.
Yes.
What do you mean when you say billionaires will come from the edge economy?
Well, when we look at what's going on the edge, it's a very exciting area, and we're seeing entirely new data streams. So as we look at connected devices, which is one of the things we looked at, whether it's IoT or edge, we've gone from computer to computer and people to people communication, so now things are communicating. And as we look at edge, where these things are connecting, and then the data is coming back to wherever it's being transacted upon, the opportunity exists for bright young people to take a look at those data streams and provide new services to the world, whether it's through distributed healthcare, whether it's senior care, assisted living, mobile traffic and traffic patterns. Yes, we know smart cities, we ought to get on top of it, but I really believe we're going to see disruptive, new businesses being created from all this data from people who find ways to analyze it and develop services based upon it.
Okay, what's the first one you see coming quite quickly, let's say in the next 24 to 36 months? Who's the next billionaire in terms of business?
I'm sorry. If I had that crystal ball, it would be me. Sorry, I really don't know. But you can see the trends and the indicators there that with all of this proliferation of devices that are connecting and all of the compute capacity that's moving out to the edge, that there's going to be new businesses developed that come off of that.
Okay, we'll do a guide on how to be a billionaire by 25.
Yeah, sure. I'll work on that one next.
Okay, right. But then looking at the whole digital ecosystem, what are the challenges out there still for the edge? Because this is still quite new. It's about 6 years old, but people are still very confused about what the edge means. So maybe start by explaining what the edge is, and then we can go to the challenges.
Well, I've heard several people use this definition. It's one I like as well, and that is edge is the closest point of digital connection to your customer, whoever that customer may be. So it may be a person using a smartphone or a smart device. Customer could be a manufacturing facility, it could be a retail facility, it could be a bank, it could be a hospital, it could be whatever that customer is and whatever that interface is that they're using. That's where we define edge, is that sort of that demarcation line where you move from delivery across a network to a device interface to a customer who's transacting goods or services across that platform.
Okay, and in terms of challenges, what's out there? What's the pressing challenge?
So the challenges are that a couple things. One is the behavior of people as well as the behavior of devices. So we identified 4 archetypes to look at the behaviors out there. And just real simply, I'll go with, for example, life-critical ones. So when you look at life-critical, that's any type of device or exchange that's going on out at the edge where if it goes down, if there's a failure in that communication, if there's a failure in that network, people could die, right? It's not a good scenario. So how do we address that entire scenario? And what is that scenario? Well, it could be something as simple as traffic lights in a smart city. Right? And we don't want people getting in and turning all the traffic lights red or green. Green would probably be worse than red, but they're all frustrating either way. But we certainly want to make certain that we control access, we control the systems, we make certain they're robust, reliable, safe, secure, et cetera. So those are some of the issues or challenges with the edge is getting our arms around what is the model, what's being delivered with this edge, and is it appropriately designed and infrastructure sized for it.
Okay. Then one of the forces that's coming into the edge to help manage all this and stop especially human errors is artificial intelligence, machine learning.
Correct.
What's happening around those two that's actually allowing edge to happen?
So we're very excited about this whole machine learning and AI, and you can debate whether it's AIs or whatever, but when we look at that, not only are we putting more intelligence at the edge in terms of actual compute equipment to work with your phones and work with all the devices, but some of that capacity that's there is to provide real-time information on what does that edge node look like. Like when we have a core data center, whether it's a 1 megawatt data center or a 500 megawatt data center, we probably have people there, right, that are pretty sharp and they understand if they get an alarm on a UPS or an alarm on a cooling system or whatever, they know how to deal with it. When we talk about edge, we're usually talking about distributed assets. They could be large, they could still be a megawatt, but they're usually going to be smaller. And that means that we're quite likely not going to have anybody there working in that facility.
It's a lights-off data
It's
center.
a lights-off data center wherever in the world it is. So now we need that machine learning capability to keep an eye on, or an ear, or whatever you want to call it, sensors, paying attention to the environmental conditions, the health of the UPS, the health of the battery plant, the health of the cooling system, and what's going on. And then be able to do triage, meaning, all right, I have an alarm condition, or I see something unusual, right? So using machine learning, I see something unusual, but is it bad? I don't know. Send the signal to a subject matter expert, wherever in the world they are. Subject matter expert can come back and say, hey, that's fine. It's a new condition we're not familiar with, but it's not a problem. You don't need to roll a truck and send people. And then conversely, you may need to do a truck roll, and you need to be able to get people there. So machine learning and AIs are going to allow us to provide edge further afield, if you will. So we're going to push the edge way out there.
Okay. Well, when we look into the lights of data centers, so some companies are already using this, especially some of the hyperscalers, the technology is very advanced. When do you think this is going to get rolled out to the wider market, especially in the colocation space? What's happening in the colocation space in terms of lights out data centers?
Yes, so we are seeing that trend as well. So when we look at the industry in general, there's no slowdown in the build rate of data centers. We're building more, and we're building them at an incredible rate.
There's actually a lack of data centers in the US now.
Well, there's a lack.
Yeah.
Right, there's a lack of space, so we have to build faster, and we are building at a lower cost. The issue is we don't have enough people with the skill sets coming into the workforce. So there's an organization like iMasons that's out there trying to work with the education community, get academia, get a career path forward for people to move into the data center space. But even with that, we're still building faster than we can get. So we need to take some of the tool sets that have been developed either internally by the infrastructure providers or by the IT stack, bring these into the space so that we can either go totally lights out and have skilled technicians that can be available to go work there and fix there. You still need those technicians, as well as to augment the capability. So that way you or I could roll there, and we probably don't want to do this at home, kids, but we could go there, have a smart device or an AR or VR device, and go in there and do repair works ourselves, simply with guidance from a remote AI platform or ML platform.
Okay. Going back to more or less the general overview of challenges, and maybe it's not a challenge. When it comes to privacy and regulations, is there a challenge to the edge? Is that threatening the edge today? Do you think privacy laws need to change? Amazon's Jeff Bezos came out this morning saying that we need new privacy laws. Are these sort of changes at government level becoming a challenge to the edge as well?
Well, Jeff certainly has his opinions, and he's entitled to them, and he has a great platform for that. When it comes to privacy and edge, look, whoever is deploying at the edge, whether they're using a 4G site or a 5G site or a fiber site or whatever connection point they're using, they're in a certain geography, and they need to abide by the laws and rules and regulations of that geographical region, country, whatever it may be, and that's fine. So I don't see that being a hindrance to the edge.
Okay.
What it may be a little complex to deal with is when you have to cross country boundaries or even state boundaries. If the state of California says, you can't ship information from a state of California to Arizona or whatever, when you have those issues go on, then you're going to have to deal with them. And what it ultimately may mean is you may have to put more compute, more capacity out at the edge than you had planned on, and not haul as much information long haul back. But be that as it may, we'll find a way to work around it.
Yeah, because especially with driverless cars, you don't want the information to stop when you cross the border.
Exactly. So you have to take a look at data integrity and data privacy and data security. If I'm AWS or a cloud service provider, I certainly want you to bring all that information as far as you can to my lowest cost point. But there may be laws against that.
Okay. Well, then looking into Vertiv, what's Vertiv doing around the edge? You've launched quite a few reports on edge archetypes,
Yes.
different things like fog computing, clouds, data centers. What are you working on at the moment? We're going to be launching. Where's Vertiv at with the edge?
We are talking about, we're working on adding intelligence at the edge, adding those remote analytics that provide visibility and a dashboard to the health of the assets that are out at the edge, because people are putting a lot of money out there, right? And as again, it's a lights out facility. So putting some intelligence out there, putting some capability to provide real-time visibility, real-time control and management, that's part of what we're doing at the edge. We've been working taking a lot of what we've done in modular data centers and modular telecom shelter space to provide prepackaged systems, either at the rack level where we see, call it a data center of one, so a single rack with all of the capabilities inside of one system, to multiple racks, to rows and aisles, but prepackaged, pre-integrated systems, or build it all in a shelter or modular unit and ship it to the site. So we're seeing a lot of interest in that space around the globe.
Okay. And we spoke a few years ago about data centers in space.
Yes.
Is Vertiv involved in anything space-wise?
I'm going to laugh and say that's confidential. Even I don't know.
We're not going to have a Vertiv flag on the moon.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have a Vertiv flag on the moon or on Mars. But if Elon Musk wants, I'll go.
Yeah, yes. And then final question: we are at the Edge Congress 2018 in Austin, Texas. The Congress will come back next year. In 12 months, what sort of challenge or trend do you expect to see that's really going to have an impact in the industry? A challenge that's going to be solved in 12 months, a trend that will really kick in. What's the one thing that's going to change?
Yeah, so I think the thing that's most exciting to me, we're looking at the next 12-month window, is 5G is being rolled out.
Okay.
So we're seeing it rolled out in Houston, in North America. We're seeing it rolled out in Houston, Seattle, et cetera. I think as 5G over the next 12 months actually gets a foothold, we're going to see opportunities develop because of the bandwidth, because of the latency that are going to allow us to do some true, what we'll call edge applications that we hadn't thought of before.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks a lot for talking to me, Jack.
Thank you.
Don't forget you can follow Data Economy on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and also visit the website on www.data-economy.com.